Hey there, welcome back to the Luxury State of Mind podcast. My name is Damia Shodi, and on this podcast, my goal is to help you live in luxury. And how we define luxury is authenticity. So, empowering you to be able to create a life that is meaningful for you and to be able to do things that you really want to do and you aspire to do. So, thank you so much for joining. Hey, Natalie, thank you so much for joining on the live, girl. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support and for just being here with me today. So, what we're going to be discussing is getting yourself in the room, AKA networking. And why would you want to network? What is the opportunities that can come your way if you network, and how to network effectively? So I'm going to be sharing this because I've found, and this used to be me as well, when you think, maybe people don't want to hear what you have to say, you don't have enough value to offer, you may be shying away from putting yourself in rooms that could, one, elevate your thinking. It could give you, again, new information, things that you've never thought of before, or um, you are just feeling like, okay, like I feel like it's just too awkward. I feel like I don't know what to say to people, or it feels very robotic. Something that I have found when talking to what I would consider a luxury minded woman, or the people that really resonate with this content, is they find it hard to show up in the rooms because, again, there's that bigger fear of being seen, that when people look at them, or look at you, what they think, that you're an imposter, will they find you out? Do you have anything of value to offer? Are there anything that you can present to the table? Do you have to be somebody that you're not? And I have found that when you have this thought of networking or the fear of meeting new people, there's a couple of things that happen. And again, this has been true for me, and especially in the past. So I just want to even share with you as well. It begins to encourage this mindset of whatever narratives that you've been telling yourself previously, that what you have to offer is not valuable. If you don't put yourself in a new room and you meet new people, you'll begin to believe the narratives and the stories that you've told yourselves for, however long you've told yourself. When I was back in college, for example, and even post college, different experiences made me to feel, or I allowed them to make me feel, that I was not somebody that people wanted to know. It really felt that at a time, people really don't need to know me, or they didn't find interest with me at that stage of my life. So, what's the difference now? So, when I did move back home, I found myself doing the same things, hanging with the same people, and not being willing to go out and meet new people because I was afraid that, well, they don't want to get to know me anyways. So, what's even the point of showing up? And for years, life just remained the same. But when I moved to a new city, and I came to the realization that, you know what? People from this new city, there's no way that they can have the same perspectives as maybe the people I had been around, or the environment that I had been around previously. It's just not going to be possible. These are people that didn't know me. They don't know my, history or whatever. So there's just no way that they'll have these same ideologies. So, in thinking this way, when coming to this new space, I began to be a little bit more open to meeting new people, going to new places. And I always talk about, and I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, the infamous game night that changed my life. And with that game night, I just was around people that I'd never met before. But it's almost as if they embraced me. They were sharing knowledge, wisdom. We were laughing, we were playing games, we are doing all types of things. And a new version of myself, or I would say the true version of myself, started to rise up. And then from there, I never felt like that person of, I have nothing to offer. Nobody wants to know me. Nobody finds me like uninteresting, or whatever it was that I was telling myself subconsciously, that kept me in a very small space. So, in putting myself in that new environment, it made my mind shift. I had to now collect new data. And that's actually one of the first things that you'll gain when you put yourself in the room, when you put yourself in rooms with people that maybe you don't know, or maybe you go with a friend and, you guys go to this networking event or a new group or whatever it is. It gives yourself new data to think on, because probably why you don't want to go to these new places is because you have all those negative thoughts, in which I had shared before, that are subconsciously blocking you from meeting new people, creating new opportunities. Because I know for the luxury minded woman, creating new opportunities is important, and being able to create opportunities that align with purpose. But if you only have the data in which you have in your mind right now, how will you know that there is more out there for you unless you see it or you experience it? So the first thing is, it allows you to get new data of and change the narratives of how you're thinking. The second thing that happens when you put yourself in new rooms and create new experiences for yourself is you have the opportunity to create new opportunities, which I had previously spoken about. That can simply look like being able to connect with somebody, having a conversation, and we'll get into, different tips on how you can network where it doesn't feel so scary. But being able to talk with people like a normal human being, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you doing? All those different things. What that does is it builds, there's a word that I keep thinking about, and it starts with an R. I want to say repertoire, but it's not repertoire. It'll come back to me. But it builds relationships, it builds rapport. That's the word. It builds rapport with that person. They begin to like, know, and trust you. And sometimes, if the conversation is so good, they may ask you, "Hey, what can I do for you?" And you can share that, "Hey, I'm trying to get into speaking, or I am a speaker. I'm looking for opportunities. Do you know anybody I can connect with?" Or, "Hey, I'm trying to make this pivot into this space or into doing this. Do you know anybody?" And sometimes, if the conversation is just so good, people will do that on their behalf. They'll think of ways on how to serve you, and vice versa. So, just in being in the rooms, you get to create new opportunities for yourself that otherwise, with what you had just alone, you wouldn't have been able to experience. And I have found this to be true in a lot of the things that have happened in Luxury State of Mind and for myself this year. Literally putting myself in new rooms, talking to people, have actually given me new opportunities and new connections that are way past what I could have done on my own. Matter of fact, before I got on this recording, literally somebody had seen a post that I had posted about. A post that I had posted about. They had seen something that I had shared about my journey of becoming a speaker, and saw, the rawness of what it's looked like. And she raised her hand to want to connect with me. This is actually somebody that I wanted to connect with 2 years ago. But somehow, some way, by one post, she saw something that I had to say. She found it valuable and wanted to help. We got on a call, and she literally shared so much resources and game. And not only that, connections. She actually wants to make connections on my behalf so I can start doing more of what I love to do. So, getting yourself in the room, whether that is in person or even online, showing up, being present, telling people, about yourself, what you're doing, things that pertain to the work that you want to do, it can create new opportunities. And then, last thing that you want to keep in mind is who you know matters. Okay. There are some doors that may not open for you easily because you don't know the right name to say, or you don't have the access by somebody else to get you into the room. Perfect example. I had wanted to do an event last year, or actually for this year, and I started planning for it last year. I had been going to different restaurants, places, all these different things. And they were just giving me their generic prices, here it is, here, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny that I was actually able to tap into a person that I met in not even a networking event, just meeting them, having a conversation with this person. Because of that, they were able to advocate on my behalf without me being there. And it opened the door for me to be able to partner with a major brand that allowed me to not only have this space, but I mean, taking care of the food, the whole experience, all because I had a conversation or knew somebody, they were actually able to open the door for me. Even when I'm pitching brands right now, I try to get the name of the person. I don't just say, "Hey, so and so team," or "Hey, so." I try to have contact with people, reach out to people, build that rapport with people. And in knowing who you know, that is what opens the door. So we are losing out on possible opportunities of what God may want to do in your life because we refuse to get in the rooms. We think, oh, well, maybe I can just do it all by myself as me and the Lord. But it's like there are laws and systems in this, in the world that we live in. And sometimes, yes, people want to know your heart, they want to know who you are. The Lord looks at the inner appearance. People look, or the Lord looks at the heart. People look at the outer appearance. People want to see, and I could even go with appearance, like how you look as well. But people see things a little differently. So sometimes we have to play, if you will, the game. And it's not really a game because I'm going to literally break down to you how easy networking can be. Um, but sometimes we have to be aware of that, that who you know matters. It doesn't matter where you're trying to go, what you're trying who you know matters and will open opportunities and doors for you. So those are some reasons why you need to put yourself in new rooms. But then here, how do we make networking easy and simple and not difficult and not like, oh God, it scares me. I don't want to get into any rooms with people and oh my goodness, I can't. All them things we be thinking about. How can we make this so easy to be able to show up in a room confidently and almost like I belong here, I deserve to be here? The first thing that you want to do, and this is the mindset you have to walk into networking with and meeting new people, you need to be more curious about the person versus what you need for yourself. You go into spaces not to just ask people, what do you do? I know many people start off conversations that way, the what do you do conversation. I personally, that's not how I interact with people. I want to know, how was their day? How are they doing? Like just being a very curious person about the person that's in front of me. And then from there, people like to talk about themselves, same as you. You like to talk about yourself if people want to ask you the right questions. And then you ask, oh, why did you get into that? Oh, why is that interesting to you? What has been your favorite thing? And it's not